Hello everybody, today I'm going to be talking about the differences between Gibson and Paramount banjos. Both of these banjos actually have a lot in common, but with those similarities there are some key differences. Both instruments have brand new strings, the same kind of head, 2-foot bridges, and I'm going to be playing with the same pick, so the only difference in sound will be from the instruments themselves. I'm also going to be hooking up to a really nice microphone to my computer. Before I play anything, I'd like to talk about some design and structural features. The iconic violin-shaped Mastertone peghead is directly copied from the Paramount. If I'm not mistaken, Paramount was the first to introduce the violin-shaped peghead. Now we're going to take a look at the backs of the pegheads and the necks. Paramount used page tuners, which are notorious for being unreliable because of the pot metal, whereas Gibson used Grover tuners, which work very well. Later on, Paramount used brass page tuners, but luckily mine work very well considering the age. This TB3 is an extremely humble instrument compared to the Paramount. William Lang of New York City was well known for making very ornate banjos. This Style D is a great representation of that. The Style D was the fourth instrument offered in the Paramount catalog. It goes alphabetically: A, B, C, D, E, and F. Gibson used the numbering system 1 through 5 based off the type of instrument, TB for tenor banjo, PB for plectrum banjo, etc. Both banjos have suspended arched top tone rings, meaning that the actual ring is separate from the rim. I will elaborate on this further later on in the video. The earliest ball-bearing Mastertones have this cool shotgun-style skirt because it looks like a shotgun blasted a bunch of holes in it, but the Paramount skirt is a little bit more simple. Mine is engraved because it's a higher-end model. Another major difference between these banjos is the armrests. The early Paramount armrests are a lot different than the later hot dog style armrests, which actually look a lot like the Gibson armrests. People say that the early Paramount armrests are really uncomfortable, but I love it. Taking the Acousticon off of the Paramount is very simple. All you do is just slide these little holders off to the side, and then the banjo will just lift right out. Removing the resonator off of a Gibson can be a little bit more challenging. There are these 4 screws that hold the resonator in place, and they need to be removed entirely. All Gibson Mastertones came with this little wrench tool, which can be used to take apart the entire instrument. Unfortunately, most of the time the original wrenches get lost, but luckily they make new ones. After removing all 4 screws, the banjo will just lift right out. So I mentioned I'd elaborate more on what a suspended tone ring means. Basically, both of these instruments have tone rings that are separate from the rim. The Gibson ball-bearing Mastertone ring is suspended by a series of ball bearings. People like to say that this design was to help combat the effects of the weather on the calfskin heads, but this is not true. Lloyd Lohr, the chief designer at Gibson, used the ball bearings and springs to make the tone ring springy. The Paramount suspended tone ring is similar, but very different. Instead of using a series of ball bearings and springs, the tone ring is actually suspended by all these little metal pieces that sit into the rim. The tone ring itself slips into the rim in 2 places, towards the top at the neck and towards the bottom at the tailpiece. Luckily, both of these banjos have the capability to adjust the action of the strings. On the Paramount, it's just tightening or loosening these 2 screws. Since Gibson uses coordinator rods rather than a dowel stick, you have to tighten or loosen these 2 nuts to determine your action. The tailpieces on these banjos are very different. This is a first-generation Paramount tailpiece with a knob to adjust the tension on the strings. The later improved style tailpiece was quite finicky. Depending on what model Gibson you got, you had a different tailpiece. The TB3 had a very simple Presto tailpiece, whereas the TB4, Granada, and TB5 all had Kirschner tailpieces. Now it is time to hear the differences between each instrument. I hope this video was helpful to those who were curious. I love these banjos so much, and they are very strong players. It's impossible for me to pick a favorite because they both sound so good. They are both beautiful pieces of masterful engineering. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to do more similar videos in the future.